Hello to everyone. Today I'll be reading another Creepypasta ASMR story, Hide and Seek. 58, 59, 60. Hide and seek. Hide and go seek was the order of the evening. 2 days of rain with no sign of stopping meant mud, and more mud. Jen already knew where the kids were. They always hid together and in the same spot. Twins like to stick together, it seemed. Where could this be, she said, convincingly, as they giggled somewhere in the house. She tiptoed down the hall and peeked into their room. Goodness, I will never find them. But maybe here, she shouted as she dropped to the floor and put the covers back. Ugh, guess not, she muttered, searching the empty space under the bed. How about here? She shouted again, this time at an empty closet. They're really making me work for it this time, she thought. Nothing in the bed. No one in the laundry. She knew they were too scared to venture in the basement, but decided to check after she'd exhausted all the other options. Jen noiselessly stumbled down the stairs to announce her presence, hopping to a lick it, some giggles and snuffling. I'm going to find you, she sang. She stopped. Nothing. The uncanny silence with a 5-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. The only silence she ever experienced happening while they were asleep, and even that was often interrupted by nightmares. Jordan, Casey, come on kids, you win, I give up, she shouted merrily. Ollie, Ollie, oxen free, you win, she shouted with slightly more urgency. Mommy's not playing the game anymore. Come on now, it's time for dinner. Still nothing. Alright, how about this? If you come out now, we'll get a big, cheesy pizza, 2 buckets of whatever flavor ice cream you want, and we'll rent a movie. But you have to come out now. A minute passed, and the panic set in. Alright kids, come out now. If you don't want to come out, you're going to be in trouble, okay? She shouted in a serious voice. Jordan Oliver Jones, you and your sister come out this instant. Jen suddenly heard movements above her and sprinted up the stairs. What on earth took you so long? She fussed as she reached to the ground level. I was starting to get warm. Jen froze. The front door was wide open. She knew she'd lock it. She was obsessed about locking the door and checking it at least twice a day. She ran out into the porch, dizzy and nearly hyperventilating. Jordan, Cassie. She ran out inside and called the police. Jen wasn't thinking clearly. Yes, I need help. My children are missing. Cherry Street, 43 Cherry Street. I was playing hide and seek with them and I couldn't find them. And I searched everywhere and then I found the door open and they're not here. They're gone, she shrieked, the panic building. Is there anyone who might want to take them? Could it be their father, a relative, the neighbor? Asked the calm voice on the other end of the phone. My family doesn't live near here, and the neighbors are out, and Jen nodded up. Oh God, the father. I have a restraint order against him. He shouldn't even. He's not supposed to be in town or anywhere near her. Ma'am, I want you to go inside and lock the doors just to be safe. Make sure all windows are latched as well. I'm sending a dispatch unit to patrol the area. Can you do that for me? The operator asked in a soothing voice. Yes, okay, I'm inside, Chen panted. Good, thank you. Can you tell me a bit about their father? The officer asked. Chen shuddered as the memories flooded back. He murdered his ex-wife in our home. It was all over the news. Jeremy Picking, Oh, yes, I remember. The officer interrupted. Shouldn't he be? Chen waited for her to finish in hurt silence. Hello, are you there? Chen tried another number, and there was no dial tone. She jumped hard as the sound of a loud knock at the door. She saw what looked like an officer's uniform through the frosted glass and rushed to unlock it. Are you okay, Chen? It was Officer John Daly, an old pair of Chinese from high school and police officer in town for over a few decades. Gosh, you got here fast, Chen sighed, relieved to not be alone anymore. The kids, John, they're gone. Don't worry, Chen injected, holding her shoulders. As she started to weep again, they're probably just running around the neighborhood, messing around. I've got 2 guards out patrolling right now. Just stay inside and try to keep a cool head. We'll find them. Jen locked the door again behind her and paced the floor, wringing her hands, peering out the window and rechecking every potential hiding spot. As she crawled out from under the dining room table, she suddenly noticed motion on the second floor of the house next door. Her breathing stopped. They were supposed to be away for the weekend. A light in the attic flickered on and the curtain swayed. Jen walked right up to a window, close enough for her nose to touch the glass. When the light suddenly flicked off again, Jen yanked the curtains closed, feeling exposed. She ran through the house, checking the locks again, roughly pulling all the curtains closed. She reached the glass door in the kitchen and came face to face with her neighbor Todd, screaming loudly enough to make him jump. Todd frowned, breathing heavily, and shook his head. Jesus, Jen, what is this? What happened? Jen cracked the door open, the chain lock still in place. Sorry, Todd, She suddenly remembered he was supposed to be out of town. Wait, why are you here? And why are you in town? Todd looked slightly offended. We're crazy, and I got into a big argument over how her dad always treats me. And well, it was pretty rough. I am being spared a trip to see the in-laws. But yeah, I got home like 10 minutes ago and saw Officer Daly leaving. So I figured I'd come in and check on you and see if everything was okay. Yeah, it's just, well, the kids. We were playing hide and seek, and I couldn't find them, and then something shiny glinted by Todd's side caught her eye. He gripped a pair of shears in his left hand. Todd followed her eyes down to see what had stopped her so abruptly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, when I was crossing the backyard to go to yours, a lot of brush was getting in the way. So I thought I'd just get on it and, get it out of the way. And, you don't have to talk to me through the door, Todd smiled, taking a step forward. Jen didn't flinch. Her mind was racing. The phone line was down. Todd had appeared out of nowhere. The shears, the phone, the kids, the shears. Jen slammed the door in Todd's face and locked the other two bolts. Hey, Todd shouted, and banged the door with the fist, holding the shears. "I just want to talk," he shouted, still banging the door. Jen ran upstairs and tore through a father old chest, desperately clawing around for that old 9mm. Why would Todd want our children? Was he trying to get her alone? His wife was out of town, and he was always flirting just a bit too much. She found the gun just as she heard glass shattering downstairs. She silently loaded and cocked it. As much as instinct told her to hide, she couldn't, not with Jordan and Casey's life at stakes. She crouched down, surveying the first floor from the top step. The kitchen door was completely obliterated, and Todd lay sprawled out in his chest. It had to be Jeremy. He took the kids, and now he was back to take her. This can't be happening. She repeated in her head over and over. She cracked. She couldn't take the tension any longer. "What do you want from us?" she screeched down the stairs. "Jen," she heard John shout back. "Oh God," she cried as she raced down the stairs. John stood in the living room, facing the kitchen with his pistol drawn. She threw her left arm around him, keeping the gun out of sight. She wasn't entirely sure if it was illegal for her to have the weapon. Todd was here. He's not supposed to be, and had these pictures, and I freaked out. She walked into his chest. "I think Jeremy was here. There's blood everywhere." "Don't worry." I shut up just as Todd broke the glass to get in through your kitchen door. "I shot him. It wasn't Jeremy," he said, stroking her hair. But I didn't hear any gunshots," Jen said, confused, thinking surely Todd had been stabbed. "Silence," said John. "I didn't want to shake up the whole neighborhood if I didn't have to." "All right," Jen exhaled. "Are my children at his house? Did you find them? Was Todd even involved in that? Or does he just have amazing timing? Is he going to be okay?" "Shh, shh, shh," John said, holding her tighter. "You don't have to worry about John or Jeremy or any other men again. I'll make sure of it. Now how about some dinner?" Jen pulled away, frowning. "John, I can't exactly eat right now. My children are missing." She began tearing up. John continued smiling. "How about I go with you and we look for them together, you know? Help the other guys you said are looking." Jen offered. "Let them do their job, sweetie. You don't need to any help. These are professional police officers. We're going to find little Jordan and Cassie." Jen stopped moving, trying to remember when she told him the names of her children. They went to the same high school together, but that was all. He didn't know anything about the children. In fact, he didn't even ask for that description to tell the dispatchers who to look for. "We'll get a big, cheesy pizza," he continued. "2 flavors of ice cream. And hey, maybe we'll even rent a movie to get your mind off of things." Her heart dropped, her stomach flew into her throat, and her breathing grew short and shallow. "John, how do dispatchers know who to look for?" John asked slowly. "I told them what they look like, Jenny." "You really need to calm down," John said with a new note of seriousness to his voice. "John, how do you know what my children look like?" Jen asked, gripping the gun still hiding behind her back. John's smile faded, and he took a step closer, his fist clenched. "That's really not important, Jen. Don't you want your children to be found? Don't you want them to be safe? Don't you want your children back, Jenny? Why do you keep calling me Jenny?" "You asked a lot of questions," John shouted, making Jen jump. This is what you liked to be called in high school, wasn't it? When we still hung out before you met that freak Jeremy and cut me off out of your life entirely. John, where are my kids? Jen shouted back. Jeremy's children are none of your concerns anymore. Jen whirred. Jen pulled the gun from behind her back and pointed it at John. Shaking, praying, she loaded it correctly. Todd didn't break the glass door, did he? Jen asked softly. Did he? She shouted again. It was just another man that wanted to get to you. John slurred lazily, unfazed by the gun, as she plopped down on the couch. You know, if you shoot me, you'll never find them. Jen felt her wheels slipping as she sobbed. What do you want? She whimpered. Sit, John ordered, and give me the gun. Jen did as she was told and collapsed into the armchair. Did you even notice how much I cared about you in high school? I never stopped caring. I've been watching you and keeping you safe for years, Jen. John spat. And John continued his diatribe, relaying stories from high school about that Jen barely remembered. As he ranted, she noticed a light out of the corner of her eyes. It was Chrissy. She was home from her parents' place. Please come here. Looking for Todd, Jen thought to herself, please, please, please. Jen kept her eye focused on Todd as she noticed Chrissy crossing her backyard and verbal. I can keep you safe. No one will ever touch you again. Think of Casey. Think of little Jordan. I'll keep them. John and Jen jumped as Gracie's screams interrupted them. She had found Todd. Jen seized the moment to snatch back the gun. John lunged red, setting it off. His face frozen, his eyelids dropping. He'd taken a bullet straight to the gut. John staggered backwards, crashing the floor. Jen ran to Gracie, who held Todd in her arms. He drifted in and out of consciousness. There was no time to explain. Please, I need to use your phone. Jen begged. She helped Gracie drag Todd to the front yard just as two officers screeched to a halt in their patrol cars. 4 officers with guns drawn rushed towards the house, yelling for Jen and Gracie to lay down. Apparently, neighbors contacted police. The sound of the gunshot. The officers didn't immediately comprehend why one of their own was laying on Jen's floor after her children went missing. However, after hearing knocking coming from Jen's patrol vehicle, they found Jordan and Casey unharmed in the trunk. Jen survived, but was fired and sent to a psychiatric ward for counseling. I hope that you guys enjoyed the story. Have a wonderful night. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Stay safe.